So one of my best friends at St. Monica's High School in Santa Monica, California, was a girl named Martha Meyer. And her dad was a 4 or 5 star general. And they had a ton of money. They were living at Marina City Club in a big giant place up, like, penthouse at the top. And they even had a black Lincoln limo and a limo driver. Her mom, to me, looked way older than the father. Her father was really a nice man. Martha, she was kind of problematic. She was one of those kind of friends that you got to be careful, because you never know if you're going to be in trouble hanging around her. She was real wild and crazy. And her dad was into a lot of physical fitness thing. He ran every morning. And so it was really unfortunate, because one morning he had just got in from running, and he went out on the kitchen floor, and that was it. So then all she had was her mother, and she had some brother, but I think he lived in Florida, and then she later moved to Fort Myers, Florida, years later when she grew up, and moved in with some guy with like 5 or 6 kids. But I haven't talked to her since in years. But anyway, Martha was definitely interesting. We went up to her house one day after school, and her mom said there was some food on the counter, if we wanted any. Her mom always laid in bed. She drank all the time, and she was always soused and looked really elderly. And anyway, she's a real thin lady with short gray hair and glasses. And so we went in the kitchen, and these squares were on the plate, and Martha says, here, you want some? And I went, I don't know what that is. It looks raw. It was like pink. So then she goes to taste it, and then she asks her mom, she yells out, so what is this stuff? And she says, it's beef tongue. Martha spit it out all over the kitchen, and then she proceeded to throw it around the house. And yeah, she was wild. One time, I have told this story before on YouTube, but one time we were down in the Santa Monica shopping mall, which is way different today. It's a whole different thing. It used to go from blocks from let's see, I guess it's Wilshire to Santa Monica Boulevard, and you could walk for blocks, or Wilshire to I think it was Wilshire to Pico, and you could walk for blocks through this mall, which had like the old, it had like an old Woolworth and Company, the 5 and Dime store, and TG and Y, and multitudes of stores, and a couple of banks down there. And then when you got to the Pico end, there was a rock place and fine jewels and stuff that you could buy, stones for things. It was really neat. And anyway, we went down there, and there was a J.C. Penney, and we went down there after school one day, and so we went into J.C. Penney, and Martha's wandering all around the store, And I was looking at shoes, and they were big into selling those hush puppy shoes, which I could never fit. They never fit right on me. And my parents used to like to buy them because they were like real high class shoes or whatever for kids, and they never would fit right on me. And oh, I liked their shoes. The styles were real cute, but they just never would fit. And I was looking at them and trying some on. Still, they didn't fit right on me. So I was looking around at the clothes and things, and Martha would come up, and she stuffed 2 scarves in her bra, and she goes, "Look," and she's shaking her boobs, and I'm like, "Stop it, you're gonna get us in trouble." And so anyway, she was goofing around, and so I bought like some boots on sale or something, and because I used to save all my lunch money, and then I also worked for my dad, so I made, like, he paid me. He said it was legal to pay your family a cheaper rate, and I made like $1.10 an hour working for my dad. And don't think I'm the only one, because my baby sister was done worse, apparently. I think she got 75 cents an hour for teaching sailing. But anyway, so we get ready to leave, and because I told Martha we got to get going, because we didn't take the school bus, so we'd have to take the Santa Monica bus lines home, which was $0.25, and then 10 cents for a transfer ticket to take the next bus. And as I couldn't be too late, because my dad would be calling the house looking for me, and he was always out teaching at UCLA or any of the colleges or at the sailing school or whatever. But when he called, you better be at the house, so that way he knows you're safe. And you had to be in by nightfall. And so anyway, I was like in the 9th or 10th grade. And so anyway, I told her, I said, we got to get going. And she's like, "Well, I can always call the limo driver to come get us." And I'm like, "All the way from Marina Del Rey, really? To Santa Monica?" And I said, "Right, sure. Like your mom's going to go for that." So anyway, we're walking out of the store, and there's this tall, thin guy with light brown, kind of, ear short hair. And he's like walking, about 20 foot behind us. And Martha kept looking behind, and I said, "What's the matter with you?" And she says, "Nothing." And we're still walking, and we're walking down the middle of this big open mall, it's an outdoor mall of stores. And then she turns around, and she flips the guy off. And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "He's a freak, he's following us." And I said, "Well, I hope he didn't steal anything or something. He might be a cop." And so we're walking, and the guy comes right up, and he says, "You two need to come with me." And it was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm store security." And I'm like, "Oh no." They were watching her clowning around and stuff, and they probably thought she stole something. So they bring us in, and they take us all the way through the back hallways of this store, up like to the 2nd level, which it didn't even have a 2nd level, but that's where they had this little office. And we had to sit in this room, and they asked her a bunch of info, and then they questioned me. And I said, "Look, I didn't steal anything. I've got a receipt for my package and everything. And I've got to get home. I live in Marina Del Rey." And so they said, "You'll have to wait here." And I'm like, "For what?" And because you stole something. I said, "I didn't steal anything." And so anyway, they held us there for, I guess, about an hour, which is not a good thing, because the Santa Monica bus lines, they run like every 12 minutes, but it takes so long to get all the way back, to the Marina Del Rey area, and then take the next bus, which only runs like every hour. And yeah, I'd be like running in the dark to get to the house. So and you never wanted to deal with the fate of my daddy, the captain. Oh no. So anyway, because I was like always in trouble. So anyway, sat there for a while, and then a lady comes in and she says, well, you guys are going to have to stay here till the police come. And I said, for what? I didn't do anything. And I said, all I did was make a purchase and leave your store. Well, your friend stole some things. I said, well, that's her business. I said, I just came in shopping and I know her from school. I said, but I had nothing to do with that and I didn't steal anything. You can search me. I don't care. So finally, they let me go. Thank God. And I was like hoping they weren't like calling my dad or something, because I would be in deep caca for sure. And he's Navy captain. He would whip my tail. I mean, seriously. Amongst slapping me or whatever it took, So anyway, I'm hoping to get home and everything, and so I see Martha the next day at school, and I was mad at her. I didn't even want to talk to her, and because I did not want to be hanging out with anybody get me in trouble. And so she says, well, here's what happened. And I said, you stole something from that store, didn't you? And she's like, well, yeah, so what? And I said, you have money. You could have anything you want. Your parents will buy you anything you want. Why are you stealing when you have money? It's fun. I said, it's not fun when I'm with you, because, if they'd have called my dad, I'd have been in so much trouble. If they'd have called him at all, because, they were trying to say that I was an accessory. And, like, we were hardly ever together in the store because you were all over the place. And, so, she says, oh, it doesn't make a difference. My parents will pay for whatever. And she said, what? She said, yeah, the police came and everything. And then I had to call my mom. And they sent the limo down to come pick me up and all that. And they just paid the bill for the stuff I got. It was like $15 or something. And I said, well, you got to stop that. I said, I almost got in really big trouble, and I can't hang around you if you're going to do stuff like that. Because my dad always told me, if you ever end up in jail, don't call me. And it's like, whoa, I better not be in jail because I got nobody to call. So I tried to avoid situations. And, in life, even when I left home, it's like things happen. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh, and you're just kind of going, how do I get out of this situation? The best thing of all is having a car. If you have a car, you can get out of a lot of situations and get away from it. That's the easiest thing in the world. Don't go places without bringing your own car. I'm telling you. You will be so sorry. Even if you're going out with your boyfriend and going out to party, I'm telling you, bring your own car. For sure. Yeah. Because it's really hard to be hoofing it and stuff. And back then, we didn't have little phones and stuff, so we could call people. You had to go to payphone and, like, empty your wallet in there if you wanted to talk longer than 60 seconds, or you had to call collect, which was, like, triple the price if you called collect with the operator. But, yeah, and you don't call people after 9 at night and wake them up, unless you know them real well and you can call them 24 hours a day. But, yeah, Martha was definitely a trip. Definitely a trip. She was something else. So, be careful who you hang out with. Always bring your car. And, stay safe. All right? I love you. Talk to you later.